You awaken today, not by chance, but by divine appointment. Something unseen has stirred heaven's attention. There is a sound over your life, a sound not of thunder, not of war, but of laughter. Yes, God laughs. And today, that laughter has your name woven within it. You have made heaven smile. The unseen battles you fought, the silent prayers whispered through tears, the choices you made to love when anger pressed in, all of them rose like incense before the throne. Heaven leaned closer, and God said, "You made me laugh today. You must understand. This is not mockery. This is joy, the Father's joy spilling into your atmosphere. When God laughs, darkness trembles. When He delights in you, storms lose their authority. Every time you refused to give up, every moment you chose peace instead of retaliation, light instead of bitterness, you added another note to the melody of heaven. You may have thought no one noticed, but heaven noticed. The Creator Himself found pleasure in your endurance. It is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 13. But the Lord laughs at the wicked, for He knows their day is coming. That laughter is not shallow amusement, it is victory's voice. It is heaven's announcement that evil cannot outlast the faithful. And you, chosen one, have stood firm where others fell. You became the proof that the light within you cannot be extinguished by circumstance. You didn't even realize it, but your quiet endurance became a sermon to angels. Every tear shed in surrender became a seed that now blooms in the courts of heaven. God saw the moment you wanted to give up, yet still whispered, "I trust you." That whisper shook the unseen. When you said Amen, even when your heart was breaking, heaven recorded it as worship. And now, God is responding not with judgment, not with rebuke, but with laughter. Divine laughter. A laughter that says, "My child, you passed the test." It is a sound that drives out fear, because where perfect love resides, fear cannot remain. You have walked through darkness and still carried light. You have stood in the midst of storms and still chosen faith. You have been misunderstood, and yet you refuse to let bitterness stain your spirit. Listen carefully. This moment is not coincidence. This message is divine intervention. Heaven has paused time to reach you now, to tell you, keep walking in this light. The enemy tried to convince you that you were unseen, forgotten, uncelebrated. But the truth is the opposite. The Father has been watching, smiling, rejoicing. Even your smallest acts of kindness ripple through eternity. Do you realize how powerful that is? When you encouraged a stranger, heaven celebrated. When you forgave the one who hurt you, angels stood to their feet. When you chose peace over pride, the Father's heart overflowed. You thought you were just surviving, but you were actually winning invisible battles, battles that only the chosen can fight, and only the faithful can win. And now, there's a shift. The laughter of God is the sound of new beginnings. It means the tide has turned. It means the tears of the night have given birth to the joy of morning. You may still see clouds, but the sun is already breaking through them. Every promise God made to you is still alive, still on its way, still protected by His word. You made Him laugh, not because you are flawless, but because you are faithful, because despite the pressure, you kept believing. Despite the delay, you kept moving. Despite the silence, you kept praying. The enemy doesn't know what to do with someone who keeps walking in light. Your resilience confuses darkness. Your worship in pain terrifies hell. Every time you lift your hands in surrender, light bursts forth in the spirit realm. Every time you forgive, heaven expands its territory within you. This is why the laughter of God is holy, it declares. My child has become untouchable. So, now, take this as your sign. Don't stop walking. Don't let exhaustion silence your praise. Don't let delay convince you that heaven is indifferent. The very opposite is true. Heaven is watching. And heaven is celebrating. God says, "You made me laugh today. You reminded me of what love looks like in motion. Keep walking in this light. Keep shining where others hide. You are a reflection of the divine joy that conquers despair." And as you move forward, remember, laughter is not weakness, it is warfare. Joy is not naive, it is prophetic. The sound of heaven's laughter over you today is a declaration that your next season is already unfolding. If this message finds you now, it is because heaven intended it. Take a breath. Feel that peace rising inside. That's God's smile resting on you. You're not too late. You're right on time. Type 777 inches, the comments, as a prophetic act, declaring, "I walk in the light that makes heaven smile." Like, share, and subscribe so that this message reaches every other chosen one walking in hidden battles just like you. Let heaven's laughter echo through the earth. There are moments when heaven notices you long before the world does. You go about your day quiet, unnoticed, unseen by most, but heaven is paying attention. Every small act of mercy, every hidden kindness, every decision to stay gentle when life feels cruel, none of it is wasted. It is seen, recorded, and remembered. The Father sees you not for what you perform in public, but for who you remain in private. You may think that your small gestures don't matter. You may think that no one sees the way you forgive, the way you choose peace over argument, the way you carry burdens that others will never understand. But the unseen world trembles at the weight of such purity. Heaven notices when your hands are open to give, even when you have little left. Heaven celebrates when you lift someone else, even as you stand on shaky ground yourself. Your name is not forgotten in heaven's book. Your actions echo through realms beyond your comprehension. There are times when angels pause to watch you, watch how you love, how you serve, how you stay faithful in silence. You may never hear applause here on earth, but in the unseen courts above, your faithfulness makes heaven sing. There is a sacred mystery hidden in the quiet. You have learned to live not for recognition, but for righteousness. And that is what draws the gaze of God. When you helped the one who betrayed you, heaven noticed. When you smiled through the ache, heaven noticed. When you spoke life over yourself after hearing only criticism, heaven noticed. You were not overlooked. You were honored in the invisible. You are not invisible to the one who made you. He has counted every time you have chosen love when bitterness seemed easier. He has seen every tear that carried hope instead of despair. The smallest prayers that left your lips in trembling faith became golden threads woven into the fabric of eternity. There are times when you think heaven is silent. But silence is not absence. It is orchestration. God works in the quiet, in the spaces between your cries and his visible answers. There are things being written in your favor, words spoken over you that no ear on earth has heard yet. Heaven keeps its promises, even when it looks like nothing is moving. The truth is, every time you act in love when it hurts, heaven's balance shifts. Every time you choose truth over comfort, the light grows stronger around you. You are shaping eternity with your unseen obedience. This is why God delights in you, not because you are perfect, but because you keep choosing Him in the hidden places. Do not underestimate what happens when heaven notices you. Divine attention is not casual, it is creative. When God's gaze falls upon you, things begin to align, paths straighten, enemies stumble, doors open. His joy becomes your covering. The laughter that began in the previous moment of revelation now becomes motion, heaven moving on your behalf. You see, when heaven notices, it doesn't only see, it responds. The atmosphere around you shifts. Angels are assigned. Peace enters your environment like fragrance. Situations that seemed impossible begin to bend toward blessing. You are not striving to be seen. You are already seen by the one who matters most. So many lose heart because they confuse invisibility with insignificance. But being hidden is not the same as being forgotten. You are hidden for holiness, reserved for the right moment. When the appointed time arrives, everything you have done in secret will bloom in divine timing. Scripture says in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 4, "Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." Let that truth rest in your spirit. Heaven's reward is not always immediate, but it is inevitable. What is unseen is often what sustains you. The seeds you planted in quietness will bear fruit in abundance. God does not overlook faithfulness. There will come a day when others finally see what heaven has seen all along: the steadfastness of your heart, the beauty of your endurance, the authenticity of your love. But even when they don't, remember, heaven's recognition outweighs human applause. You don't need the world's spotlight when heaven's light already shines upon you. Walk softly, love deeply, give freely, forgive quickly, and keep doing it, even when no one claps, because heaven notices, and heaven smiles. There is a fragrance that rises when you choose goodness in silence. It is the aroma of faith, pure and unshaken, drifting upward to heaven's throne. God breathes it in, and His heart overflows with delight. Every act of love becomes a ripple of light that touches generations you will never meet. Heaven counts each one, not as small gestures, but as eternal victories that push back the shadows around this world. So, keep sowing kindness. Even when no one claps, keep walking in grace. Even when misunderstood, heaven's gaze is still upon you, and the smile of God still rests where your faith quietly shines. There are days when heaven's favor arrives without announcement. You do not plan it. You do not expect it. Yet suddenly, the ordinary becomes sacred. Doors open that were once sealed. Hearts soften that were once stone. You find yourself walking into moments so perfectly timed that you can only whisper, "This is God." Favor rarely shouts, it flows quietly, like oil poured over your path. It doesn't always come as wealth or applause. Sometimes favor looks like peace that defies logic, strength that returns when you should be empty, or divine protection that kept danger one step away. The favor of God moves silently but powerfully, shifting everything around you, toward His promise. There have been times when you thought you were overlooked, yet heaven was positioning you. You didn't see the angels that stood guard, or the invisible hands that moved obstacles out of your way. You didn't see how the delay you hated was actually divine protection. What you called disappointment, heaven called redirection. Every step, even the painful ones, has been woven into purpose. You see, when you walk with God, favor isn't luck, it's legacy. It's the reflection of His covenant over your life. The same grace that surrounded Joseph in prison now surrounds you in your waiting. The same light that led Esther into the palace now lights your steps through uncertainty. You are not forgotten, you are favored. Sometimes favor hides itself in routine. You wake up thinking it's an ordinary morning, but heaven has already written breakthrough into your schedule. Angels have gone ahead to prepare peace, opportunities, and divine connections. That text message, that phone call, that random encounter, it's not random. It's revelation in disguise. The Holy Word affirms this mystery. It is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 11, "For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." You are not walking alone. Divine guardians travel with you, dispatched by God's voice, moving where your feet will go next. Some of the battles you never saw were already fought and won on your behalf. You will never know how many storms passed by because of one whispered prayer. How many accidents were cancelled because heaven intervened. Favor doesn't mean the absence of struggle. It means victory is guaranteed before the struggle begins. The enemy may try, but he cannot override divine instruction. The angels guarding you move at God's word, not the world's threats. So, when you see closed doors, don't panic, ask instead, "God, which way are you leading me now?" Because every redirection is protection. If only you could see what's happening in the unseen, you would never doubt again. You would stand taller, smile wider, and walk lighter, knowing that heaven's assignments are wrapped around your life like armor. Every no that confused you was an act of mercy. Every delay that frustrated you was God preparing timing that wouldn't destroy your peace. So, today, pause and breathe. Look back over your journey. Remember the places that almost broke you, the seasons that almost crushed your faith, and yet you're still here. That is favor. That is proof that you've been carried. Do not measure favor by what the world calls success. Measure it by survival, by peace, by growth. If you still have faith, you have favor. If you can still forgive, you have favor. If you still smile after everything you've lost, heaven has crowned you with favor. There will come a day when what is hidden will be revealed. Those who once questioned your worth will see the undeniable hand of God on your life. They will wonder how you endured, how you rose, how you kept going, and you will simply say, "God favored me." So, keep walking with steady steps. Don't chase what was never meant for you. Let favor find you, it always does. The same God who commanded angels before will do it again. The unexpected favor of heaven is already in motion. Type "I receive favor" in the comments as your declaration. Let it be more than words. Let it be faith spoken aloud. Every time you affirm it, you align with heaven's decree that says you are not forgotten, you are favored, and divine guardians still walk beside you now. When you type "I receive favor," You are not just agreeing with words, you are activating alignment. You are declaring to heaven and to every watching spirit that you choose to walk in divine timing, not fear. You are claiming what God already appointed over your destiny. Writing, "I receive favor," is an act of faith stronger than any ritual. It breaks hesitation, opens spiritual gates, and invites angels to continue their assignments around your life. It says, "I no longer chase validation, I rest in divine approval." It is heaven's password spoken through you. Each time you write, "I receive favor," heaven records it, the earth hears it, and your spirit rises to match it. Let this be your daily decree, a seal of trust, a statement of surrender, and a reminder that divine favor never expires over your life. There are moments when God does not speak through thunder or vision, but through the gentle breath of peace that settles over you when you least expect it. His whisper doesn't demand attention, it invites stillness. It comes quietly, cutting through the noise of the world to reach your heart with words only your spirit can understand. You have known the chaos of loud seasons, the shouts of doubt, the storms of confusion, the endless inner questioning. Yet, in the midst of all that, there comes a sacred silence, and in that silence, the Father's whisper finds you. It says, "You made me smile when you chose to believe again." You may not hear an audible voice, but you feel the warmth of His approval in the peace that surrounds you. You feel His nearness in the calm that follows your tears. It is not the absence of pain, it is the presence of purpose. That quiet assurance that, somehow, you are exactly where you are meant to be. God's whisper often carries more weight than 1,000 sermons. It comes not to impress but to instruct, not to overwhelm but to heal. It tells you what the world cannot, that you are still loved, still seen, still chosen. It speaks softly because He is close. The closer He is, the quieter He speaks. There are moments when you question whether He is still with you, when your prayers feel unanswered, and silence feels heavy. But silence is not distance, it is intimacy. He is teaching you to listen differently, not for signs in the sky, but for the subtle rhythm of grace in your own heartbeat. Heaven's language is not always words. Sometimes it's timing. Sometimes it's peace. Sometimes it's the door that didn't open. The Father's whisper is often disguised as redirection. You wanted one thing, and He gave another, not to punish, but to protect. The whisper says, "Trust me. This path may look narrow, but it leads to joy." There was a day when Elijah stood on a mountain, waiting for God to appear. The wind was powerful, but God was not in the wind. The earthquake came, but He was not in the earthquake. Then fire, yet still no voice. And then a gentle whisper. That was God, not shouting, but drawing close. The word of the Lord reminds us of this truth. It is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 15, "In quietness and trust shall be your strength." This is the secret few discover. Early stillness is strength. The world tells you to move faster, shout louder, fight harder, but heaven whispers, "Be still." In stillness, you hear divine instruction. In stillness, you are guided. And in stillness, your heart remembers who it belongs to. There is power in that whisper because it bypasses your mind and goes straight to your spirit. When you are overwhelmed, God's whisper brings order. When you are restless, His voice restores rhythm. When you feel unworthy, His whisper calls you by name. You've learned to recognize it not through sound, but through peace. Every time you choose calmness instead of panic, you have heard Him. Every time you let go of what you cannot control, you have responded to His voice. You don't have to chase His presence. It is already surrounding you. And perhaps the reason God whispers is because He wants you to lean in. You can only hear a whisper when you're close. So if He is whispering now, it means He has drawn near. The distance you feel is only the echo of your worry, not His absence. He is not far. He is in the quiet room where you pray. He is in the steady rhythm of your breathing. He is in the morning light that meets your tired eyes. He is in the peace that doesn't make sense, the forgiveness you didn't think you could give, the hope that keeps returning after every disappointment. Listen now. Can you sense it? That gentle assurance that everything will unfold in its time. That's Him. The whisper of the Father who still delights in you. He doesn't shout because He doesn't need to. His voice already rules over creation. He whispers because He wants communion, not control. And when you finally hear it, not with your ears, but with your heart, you realize it was never about earning His attention. It was about noticing His nearness. The Father's whisper is the sound of heaven breathing peace into your spirit. Stay still long enough to hear it, and you will never feel lost again. The whisper of God is not a passing breeze. It is an eternal voice reminding you that you are safe, guided, and loved. Every gentle nudge toward peace is proof that heaven still speaks, even when the world grows loud with fear and distraction. When you quiet your soul, you'll find that His whisper never truly leaves. It becomes a steady pulse within your spirit, guiding your choices, calming your storms, and strengthening your faith. Keep listening. The Father still speaks softly to those who dare to rest. Joy is not an emotion you stumble upon. It is a treasure you choose to uncover, even in the ruins. The kind of joy heaven gives is not fragile. It is a force. It is the laughter that comes after tears, the smile that survives the storm, the melody that rises from ashes. You have felt the weight of sorrow, but now God invites you to feel the weight of joy. Heaven's joy is heavy because it carries healing. It is not shallow happiness that fades when life turns hard. It is the kind that roots itself deep inside and holds you steady. You may not realize it, but joy is armor. Every time you laugh in faith, darkness loses ground. Every time you choose gratitude over complaint, the enemy's grip weakens. This joy isn't denial of pain, it's defiance against despair. It says, I will dance even while the fire burns. You don't laugh because nothing hurts. You laugh because God is still greater. There is power in that choice. Joy disarms fear, confuses evil, and becomes a light that spreads through the people around you. The Word of God declares in the book of Nehemiah, chapter 8, verse 10, Do not grieve, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. That single sentence carries a kingdom within it. The joy of the Lord does not ignore sorrow, it redeems it. It lifts what grief tried to bury. And when heaven's laughter meets your pain, miracles are born. You see, when God said, You made me laugh today, it wasn't just a compliment, it was a confirmation. It meant you carried His strength even in weakness. It meant your endurance made heaven rejoice. You didn't just survive, you reflected the very joy that sustains the universe. Joy is not something you chase, it's something you allow. like sunlight. It comes when you stop hiding. Like a seed, it grows where you water it. The soil of your heart has known drought and rain, yet here it is blooming again. Heaven sees that. Heaven smiles at that. Every chosen one carries a measure of joy that can heal others. Sometimes it's through your voice, sometimes your words, sometimes your generosity. Joy multiplies. When shared, it's one of heaven's laws. When you pour it out, more flows in. That's why even your smallest act of kindness has eternal value. And speaking of sharing, this is where your light can quietly multiply again. These words reach thousands because chosen ones like you help them travel farther. When you tap the light when you like, share, or subscribe, it's as if you are releasing another lantern into the dark night. Every gesture becomes a glowing seed carried by the wind of grace, finding hearts that need warmth. And if the Spirit ever whispers to you to give, to donate, to water this garden that has fed your soul, let it be an act of worship, not obligation. Think of it as placing a single flame on the altar of gratitude. You are not paying for light. You are helping it reach deeper into the shadows. Your donation is a drop of oil poured into the lamp that keeps this message burning through the long night. It is gentle, voluntary, sacred, and heaven, who sees in secret, smiles at every drop you pour. Your giving, whether time, prayer, or support, is never unnoticed. Heaven marks the hands that give freely. Just as the widow's 2 coins caught Jesus' attention, your quiet act of love stirs heaven's joy. Never think it's small. Heaven does not measure by amount, but by heart. So, as you continue walking in this divine light, remember that your joy and generosity are seeds from the same tree. Joy is what blooms on the branches. Generosity is the root that keeps it alive. When you give, you don't lose, you multiply what already lives in you. We walk this path together, each listener, each messenger, each soul illuminated by God's laughter. When you share this message, you are carrying that laughter forward. When you give, you are saying, let someone else feel this peace too. There's no obligation in this, only invitation. If your heart stirs, let it flow. If not, simply receive the word in peace. The kingdom never forces, it only welcomes. Joy shared is never wasted, and light given is never lost. So take this moment, smile again, feel the warmth of heaven's laughter surrounding you. Let the weight of joy strengthen your tired hands, lift your head, and remind you you are part of something eternal. Every heartbeat of faith, every act of kindness, every gift given in love becomes another spark in this divine flame. Keep walking in this joy. Keep laughing in faith. Keep being the living proof that darkness cannot steal what heaven planted in you. And when this message ends, if you feel peace stirring in your chest, pass it on. Your share is another lantern. Your prayer is another flame. And your gift, if you choose to give, is another drop of oil, keeping the fire alive. That is how the joy of the Lord travels from heart to heart, from chosen to chosen, until the whole world begins to glow. There is a light within you that has survived storms others never saw. You may not recognize how radiant you've become, but heaven does. The glow you carry was not born from comfort, it was forged in fire. Every time life tried to dim you, Grace rebuilt your flame. This is the mystery of the chosen ones. You don't shine because life is easy. You shine because you refuse to let the darkness win. Even when you were exhausted, you kept your heart open. Even when others misunderstood your faith, you kept trusting quietly. And that quiet trust became light, pure, unshakable light. The Word of God reminds us through the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." That light is not for decoration, it's a declaration. It says to the world, hope still lives here. When others see your peace in chaos, they are witnessing the reflection of heaven through you. When they feel your warmth, they are encountering the echo of divine presence. You are a living lamp, a flame that speaks louder than words. There have been times when you've wondered, does my light even matter? But look around the ones drawn to your presence. The comfort you unknowingly bring, the atmosphere that softens when you enter, that is your proof. You don't need recognition, you are revelation. Heaven shines through your compassion, your patience, your consistency. You are not meant to blend into the shadows. Your very existence was designed to interrupt the darkness. Even the smallest light commands attention in a room that's forgotten the sun. Don't hide because you fear being misunderstood. Shine because someone else is lost and looking for direction. You have seen enough brokenness to understand why light matters. That's why your glow is so powerful, it's honest. It carries both wounds and wisdom, both tears and triumphs. People feel something holy when they're near you. Not because you're perfect, but because you've survived what should have destroyed you. You must remember, every time you choose to forgive, your light grows brighter. Every time you speak peace instead of panic, it expands. Every time you love without conditions, it multiplies. Light never asks permission to exist, it simply shines. And the more you embrace your purpose, the further that light travels. Heaven doesn't measure your brilliance by how loud you are, but by how consistent you remain, even when unseen. Your light is transforming spaces you will never step into. Someone out there is breathing easier today because your prayer reached heaven for them. Someone found hope because your example showed them it was still possible to endure with grace. So walk boldly in your glow. You are not flickering, you are steady. You are not forgotten, you are positioned. The darkness is only evidence that your light is needed. This is why heaven keeps saying, keep walking in this light, because you are the proof that even in chaos, divine order still exists. Your light is a message to every shadow that it cannot last. When you smile despite pain, when you show kindness without condition, you are teaching the world what heaven looks like in motion. That's your calling, to be illumination, to be warmth, to be hope that others can touch. You are not just carrying light, you are becoming it. And when you walk, heaven walks through you. Angels follow the sound of your faith, and God delights in watching his reflection move through the world. Pause for a moment. Feel that warmth rising inside. That's your spirit, remembering who you are, a flame that darkness can't touch. If this word has found you tonight, it is not coincidence, it is confirmation. God is whispering, shine again. Don't shrink back now. The world still needs your light. Type 888 inches, the comments, as a prophetic sign that your light will not go out. Every 888 you write is a spark released into the atmosphere, a declaration that you refuse to hide what heaven placed inside you. Your light is eternal, and tonight it shines even brighter. When you type 888, you are declaring that your light carries no ending. The number sings of new beginnings, of cycles renewed by heaven's hand. It's not luck, it's legacy. The rhythm of eternal light moving through your spirit and into the world. Writing 888 is like striking a holy match in the dark, reminding both heaven and earth that your flame still burns. It is your agreement with God's promise that darkness cannot silence divine radiance born inside your soul. Each 888 you release is a pulse in the unseen realm, a signal that the chosen are still shining. Heaven watches, angels record, and light multiplies. You are part of a network of brightness stretching farther than your eyes can see. So type 888 with intention. Let it carry gratitude, courage, and conviction. Let it say, I will shine again. I will walk in this light. Because every number written in faith becomes a spark that keeps heaven's laughter glowing within you. There have been moments when life mocked your faith, when darkness whispered that your hope was foolish. You have felt it, the sting of ridicule, the weight of misunderstanding, the silence that follows when others cannot see what you see. Yet even in those moments, heaven was not silent. While the world questioned you, God smiled. The truth is, every time you chose love over anger, forgiveness over revenge, peace over panic, you were striking at the heart of darkness itself. Evil does not know how to respond to someone who loves without condition. It loses its voice when confronted by quiet mercy. What others called weakness, heaven called warfare. You didn't need to raise your voice to win the battle. Your gentleness was the weapon. Your patience was the shield. The enemy tried to provoke you into reacting, but you stayed rooted in peace, and that peace dismantled his plans. There is more power in a calm spirit than in 1,000 angry words. Heaven remembers every moment when you stood your ground with grace, when gossip came and you stayed silent, when betrayal tried to poison you and you chose compassion instead. Those moments were not small, they were sacred. They told the universe, light cannot be intimidated. Darkness mocks what it fears. The louder the opposition, the clearer the confirmation that you are carrying something holy. When you feel attacked, misunderstood, or misjudged, remember this truth: the enemy only throws stones at trees that bear fruit. Your fruit irritates the barren. What's beautiful is how you never stopped loving. Even when others doubted your motives or mocked your faith, you still chose kindness. That's not weakness, that's divine reflection. That's the nature of Christ living within you. You didn't lose your voice, you gained authority. You didn't lose friends, you gained clarity about who could walk with your light. There is a reason why heaven laughs at darkness. It knows how temporary it is. Shadows exist only because of light. The moment light moves, the shadows must adjust. The same happens in your life. Every step you take in obedience forces darkness to reposition. You are not the one reacting, the enemy is. The Holy Text reveals this mystery clearly. It is written in the letter to the Romans, chapter 12, verse 21, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." Goodness is not passive, it's powerful. It disarms hatred, confuses envy, and silences fear. The one who can still be kind while wounded carries heaven's authority. That is who you have become. Remember, when you thought gentleness meant being stepped on, heaven has shown you that true power is quiet. A soft answer can break a chain. A calm spirit can shift an atmosphere. Your peace has become prophetic. It declares that love has already won. There were nights when you felt alone in your obedience, when you questioned if it was worth it to keep forgiving, to keep trying, to keep loving those who never seemed to care. But heaven saw it all. Every time you turned the other cheek, light spread. Every time you refused to curse, angels celebrated. You were not losing, you were conquering quietly. Now that you stand here, look back at how much you've overcome. The old you would have shouted back, fought harder, proven your worth. But now, you know better. Silence can be louder than argument. Prayer can be sharper than anger. Love can be stronger than justice. That is how heaven fights through peace that confounds the world. The mockery of darkness has always been powerless against the endurance of light. That's why you are still standing. That's why your spirit still glows when others' flames have gone out. You carry proof that love is not fragile, it is fireproof. Do not be disheartened when people misread your peace as indifference. They cannot understand the strength it takes to stay gentle in a cruel world. But heaven understands. Heaven knows the cost of your calm. Your peace has become a fortress. Every time you forgive, another wall of protection rises. Every time you stay humble, heaven adds another layer of blessing. What once mocked you will one day marvel at you. The same voices that ridiculed your faith will see that you were right to trust God all along. So walk on, chosen one. Let the noise fade behind you. You don't have to defend yourself. Light never argues with darkness. It simply shines until shadows surrender. Keep shining. Keep choosing love. For every quiet act of goodness you offer, heaven laughs again, knowing that light has already won. The peace you carry is not weakness, it is divine resistance. Each calm breath you take is a declaration that chaos will not own you. Heaven writes songs about such quiet victories, for they echo longer than the noise of anger ever could. Keep walking in that stillness. Let it become your signature, your unseen crown. For in a world addicted to shouting, your silence wrapped in love becomes thunder in the spirit. That is how God's laughter keeps rolling through the calm strength of your light. You remember the nights when tears fell without warning, when pain visited without invitation. There were days when you could not speak of it, because the ache was too deep, and the world too loud to understand. Yet those moments, those silent cries, were never wasted. Heaven heard every one of them. Tears are sacred. They are not signs of weakness, but of cleansing. They wash away what words cannot express. Every tear you cried in faith became a seed hidden in the soil of your soul, waiting for heaven's rain. And now, what once broke you is becoming your harvest. There's a holy exchange that happens when sorrow meets surrender. What once seemed like loss becomes the foundation for strength. What once felt like mourning becomes a melody. You didn't realize it, but your tears were writing songs of worship that angels now sing. Heaven turned them into praise, into joy, into proof that nothing surrendered in faith ever dies. The ancient writings remind us of this divine exchange. It is found in the book of Psalms, chapter 30, verse 5. Weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. Your night was long, yes, but dawn was always promised. The same God who watched you weep is the one who now clothes you with joy. What once pressed you down has become the very thing that lifts you higher. This is redemption, not the erasing of pain, but the rewriting of it. Do you remember the moments when you thought, "I can't do this anymore"? Heaven remembers them too, but not as moments of defeat. They are recorded as turning points. The place where your strength ended was where God's began. Every cry you released became a bridge between despair and destiny. And now, look at you. You carry peace in the same heart that once trembled with fear. You smile with the same lips that once could only whisper prayers of desperation. That is transformation. That is resurrection. You didn't just survive the storm, you were purified by it. The beauty of divine healing is that it doesn't erase the scar, it makes it shine. Your scars are not shameful, they are sacred. They tell the story of a God who stayed. They are evidence that mercy reached you even in the dark. So when you feel the old pain, try to return. Don't curse it. Thank it. Because it no longer controls you, it reminds you of how far you've come. The memory that once triggered grief now awakens gratitude. That's how healing speaks. It rewrites the past with peace. There's something powerful about choosing praise when tears still wet your face. Heaven listens closely to such worship. Angels stop their songs to hear yours. Because praise from pain carries a sound that shakes eternity. It tells the universe that faith still lives here, that the light has not gone out. There's a shift happening now. The sorrow that once sat on your chest like a weight is being transformed into wind lifting you, not crushing you. The ashes you thought were the end are becoming the soil for something radiant. The laughter you're about to experience isn't careless, it's victory. When you laugh again, it won't be the same as before. It will be richer, fuller, born from wisdom. It will carry the sound of someone who knows what it means to be carried by grace. And heaven will laugh with you. Not because of what's funny, but because of what's finished. You see, the night doesn't last forever, and neither does pain. Morning always comes not because you earn it, but because God promised it. And He always keeps His promises. That's why, even now, joy is returning to you. Slowly, quietly, but surely. Your laughter will come back, it already is. It begins in the smallest moments, a quiet breath, a memory that no longer hurts, a sudden calm for no reason at all. That's how heaven restores gently, like sunrise touching a cold horizon. So let this be your reminder, your tears were never wasted. They built something in you that comfort cannot. They created space for glory to dwell. What once hurt you has now been transformed into holiness. You no longer cry as a victim, you weep as one who has overcome. The morning has arrived. The night has done its work. You are not broken anymore, you are blooming. And somewhere above you, God is smiling again, whispering, "You made me laugh, because you turned pain into praise." The morning light now rests gently on your spirit, revealing how radiant you have become. You are no longer defined by what hurt you, but by what healed you. Heaven's laughter echoes softly through every scar, now glowing with purpose. Your journey has become a testimony written in light. Each tear transformed into wisdom, each heartbreak into compassion. The sound of your laughter now carries healing to others walking through the same night you once endured. So walk forward with quiet confidence. The dawn has already claimed your name. Every step you take is proof that grace wins. Joy returns. and God still turns sorrow into songs that never end. There is a kind of laughter that only heaven understands, the laughter that rises even in the middle of battle. You have begun to discover it. The sound of divine humor is not careless, it is courageous. It is heaven's way of saying, "This will not end in defeat." When God laughs, it is not mockery, it is mastery. It is the sound of certainty, the music of victory already written. You have been learning to laugh like heaven, to carry peace even when the storm roars, to smile even when the outcome is unclear. That laughter is warfare disguised as joy. The ancient wisdom still speaks clearly. It is found in the book of Job, chapter 5, verse 22. You will laugh at destruction and famine, and need not fear the wild animals. Those words were not written for comfort, they were written for courage. They remind you that laughter is a weapon sharper than worry. Every time you laugh through faith, you are declaring, "The storm does not own me." You are refusing to let fear have the final word. You've known worry intimately. You've looked at empty places and felt your heart tremble. But lately, something has shifted. The fear that once ruled your thoughts is losing its voice. It tries to whisper, but your laughter interrupts it. Heaven has been teaching you to see through different eyes, to notice victory hiding in uncertainty, to find rhythm even in chaos. When you laugh with faith, you are not ignoring reality, you are inviting a higher one. You are aligning yourself with heaven's certainty that all things are being worked for your good. That laughter releases light into the air, unsettling everything that once intimidated you. Darkness doesn't know what to do with joy. It feeds on fear, but starves in laughter. That's why the enemy wants you anxious, because joy makes you untouchable. But when you laugh, something holy happens inside you. It's like a spark that burns away heaviness. It's your spirit remembering what your mind forgot, that God is still in control. Laughter breaks spiritual gravity. It lifts you above the weight of the moment. Even in war, heaven laughs, not because pain isn't real, but because defeat isn't possible. You have that same power now. You can stand in the middle of uncertainty and smile, not because you're reckless, but because you're rooted. Heaven's kind of laughter is revelation. It tells you that the outcome is already written in light. So when your heart starts to grow heavy again, remember, joy is not an escape, it's evidence of faith. To laugh when others cry is not denial, it's prophecy. You are speaking victory before it arrives. If only you could see what laughter looks like in the spirit. It's not noise, it's light. When you laugh with trust, angels move, chains loosen, doors unlock. That sound shakes the walls of fear, until only faith remains standing. You have learned that even while tears fall, laughter can coexist. Heaven's humor is not cruel, it is comforting. It tells you that you will make it, that your story won't end in despair. That's why you keep finding joy in strange places, in the quiet, in the small, in the simple. Those are heaven's smiles breaking through the clouds. So keep laughing when you can. Keep smiling when it seems small. Heaven is laughing with you, not at you. Each moment of joy is a spiritual victory. Every smile is a sword cutting through fear. And when people ask how you can laugh when life has been so hard, tell them this: because you've seen the end. And God wins there. Now, take a moment. Breathe. Let that joy rise again. It's not fleeting, it's sacred. Let the peace that comes with laughter settle into your bones. Type "joy conquers all" in the comments. Let it be your declaration that no darkness can outlast your laughter. Each word written becomes a ripple of divine confidence, a reminder that joy is your inheritance and laughter your victory song. When you type "joy conquers all," you are not merely commenting, you are testifying. You are declaring to the unseen that your laughter is stronger than loss, that the peace within you cannot be shaken, and that joy has already claimed victory over your circumstances. Each "joy conquers all" written carries spiritual weight. It's a signal to heaven and earth that your hope is alive, your faith unbroken. It becomes a sword of light, cutting through every whisper of fear that once told you your joy was gone. Writing "joy conquers all" is like setting a banner above your life, one that waves even in the wind. It says, "I have chosen joy as my weapon, and I will not surrender." That declaration shakes the darkness and steadies your heart. So speak it boldly: joy conquers all. Let it echo in your room, in your mind, in your spirit. Every time you declare it, heaven agrees again, and your atmosphere shifts. Joy reigns, peace grows, and laughter becomes your most powerful prayer. There comes a time when heaven calls you to rejoice again, not because everything makes sense, but because everything is held. You are standing in that moment now. The season of trembling has turned into the season of singing. Heaven is no longer whispering just comfort, it is releasing celebration. You have been through enough to know that joy doesn't appear by accident. It must be chosen, cultivated, protected. It grows in the soil of gratitude, watered by faith, warmed by surrender. And now, that garden inside you is blooming again. The Word of God declares in the letter to the Philippians, chapter 4, verse 4, "Rejoice in the Lord always." I will say it again, rejoice. Notice that the command is not conditional. It doesn't say, "Rejoice when life is easy," or "Rejoice when you understand." It says always, because rejoicing is not reaction, it's revelation. It means you see something greater than pain, something permanent behind the temporary. The laughter you carry is no longer fragile. It has matured. It knows what it costs to praise through tears, and that makes your joy sacred. When you smile now, it's not because life is perfect, it's because you've seen too much of God's faithfulness to doubt anymore. Joy is worship in motion. It's the sound of gratitude walking through a wounded world, still singing. When you laugh now, heaven hears worship. Every breath of joy becomes incense rising to God, saying, "I still trust you." But even joy, to grow, must be shared. The same way a river cannot remain pure if it refuses to flow. Joy cannot stay alive if it is kept to yourself. Heaven's laughter moves best when it moves through you. When you like, share, or subscribe, you are not just pressing buttons, you are releasing ripples. Each simple act sends this message of light a little farther, reaching hearts you may never meet. Imagine it like tossing a pebble of hope into an endless sea. The waves go on long after your hand leaves the water. Somewhere, someone sits in darkness, waiting for this very sound, the sound of joy that survived. And your small act becomes the bridge that carries it there. That is the beauty of divine partnership. One person shines, another passes the flame, and soon the whole horizon glows. And if ever your heart feels moved to donate, let it not be obligation but overflow. Think of giving as tending a fire on a cold night. You add another piece of wood, not because the fire belongs to you, but because you felt its warmth. You want others to feel it too. Your generosity, no matter how small, is never unseen. Each offering is like a drop of honey placed on heaven's altar. It sweetens the message, strengthens the flow, and sustains the voice that speaks comfort into weary hearts. It's not a transaction, it's participation in light. Remember, what you support grows. When you pour love into something that brings peace, heaven multiplies that peace in your own life. Like a candle lighting another, you lose nothing. The room only becomes brighter. No one is asking from your lack. Heaven always honors giving from joy. If you have peace to give, give peace. If you have prayer to offer, offer it. And if your heart stirs to plant a seed of support, plant it in freedom. Your donation is like rain watering unseen roots. The tree grows, and its shade reaches souls you'll never meet. You see, joy and generosity are twins. Both flow from gratitude. Both spread light. Both remind the world that goodness still lives. When you choose to give, you are choosing to say, I believe this light should not die here. So, as heaven calls you to rejoice again, let your laughter be contagious. Let your faith become melody. And let your giving, however it looks, be a form of worship, pure, voluntary, radiant. Together, we are tending a single flame, the flame of joy that refuses to fade. Every share, every prayer, every gift is another breath that keeps it alive. And somewhere, far beyond what we can see, God is still smiling, still laughing, still whispering. Keep walking in this light. If this word finds you smiling right now, carry it forward. Like, share, or subscribe as your way of saying, let the laughter of heaven reach another soul. And if you ever feel led to give, give as one who has already received. Because joy shared is not joy lost, it's joy multiplied. Every act of sharing keeps the flame alive. Each time you let this message travel beyond you, it becomes a spark in another heart, a whisper of courage to someone on the edge of surrender. This is how heaven's laughter multiplies through hands that give freely. And when you give, whether with prayer, time, or offering, you are joining the great symphony of divine joy. Your generosity becomes music in the unseen. Echoing softly, light still lives here. Love still reigns. And God's laughter still fills the earth. There is a rhythm to heaven that you have begun to walk in, even without realizing it. It is the rhythm of joy, the gentle pulse of grace guiding each step you take. The dance of the chosen is not choreographed by circumstance, it is led by the Spirit. When you move in faith, heaven moves with you. There was a time when your steps felt heavy, uncertain, weighed down by worry. You stumbled. You paused. You doubted your direction. But God never let go of your hand. Every misstep became a lesson. Every delay became alignment. Now your steps carry harmony. You walk not by sight, but by sound, by the silent music of heaven. You've noticed it, haven't you? The way life starts to flow again when you stop fighting and start trusting. The way peace fills the room when you let grace lead. That's not coincidence, that's choreography. Heaven has been teaching you how to move in rhythm with divine timing. The sacred writings capture this truth beautifully. It is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 149, verse 3, "Let them praise his name with dancing and make music to him with timbrel and harp." This isn't merely about physical movement, it's about spiritual alignment. To dance before God means to yield, to let his joy move through you until your heart beats in time with his. When you dance like that, even your struggles start to find rhythm, and your pain begins to turn into art. You may not always hear the music, but it is there, the melody of mercy that has followed you since birth. Sometimes it's slow and gentle, like a lullaby. Sometimes it's wild and fierce, like wind through the trees. But it is always pulling you forward, inviting you deeper into purpose. Heaven's dance isn't about perfection, it's about participation. You don't have to know every step, you just have to be willing to move. Every act of faith, no matter how small, becomes part of that movement. When you forgive, that's a step. When you believe again, that's another. When you choose peace over fear, heaven twirls with you. The enemy has tried to make you sit out of this dance. He whispered that you're too broken, too tired, too late. But he forgot one truth: you dance not because you're worthy, but because you're loved. The grace of God doesn't need flawless rhythm, it only needs surrendered hearts. Sometimes your dance looks like stillness, moments when you rest. When you let the music carry you instead of trying to lead. Those are sacred moments too. Rest is rhythm. Silence is part of the song. Heaven celebrates every breath that says, "I'm still here." The beauty of this divine dance is that it weaves every season together. The fast steps of joy, the slow ones of sorrow, the pauses of waiting all belong to the same melody. Nothing is wasted. Every movement has meaning. Every rhythm leads to revelation. You've been learning that life's timing doesn't always match your expectations. But divine rhythm isn't rushed, it's precise. When you trust it, even detours become part of the choreography. The very paths that confused you were teaching you timing, balance, and grace. There's freedom in knowing you no longer have to force what flows. You can let the Spirit guide your feet. You can trust the melody even when you don't understand the measure. For the composer of heaven never misses a beat. And as long as you move with him, you'll never fall out of step. Think of it: every heartache, every triumph, every quiet morning prayer, they're all part of this eternal waltz between Creator and creation. You are dancing not just for survival, but for testimony. Every movement whispers, God is faithful. Every step leaves footprints of glory. When others see your peace, they are witnessing the rhythm of heaven in motion. They may not hear the same music, but they will feel it when they're near you. That's how your life becomes a song without words, yet filled with truth. So keep moving, even when the music seems faint. Heaven has not stopped playing your song. The pauses are not endings, they are invitations to listen more deeply. The rhythm will return, stronger, clearer, more beautiful than before. For the dance of the chosen is eternal. It does not fade with age or circumstance. It continues through every breath you take, through every act of faith you live. You were born to move in divine rhythm, to turn every moment, even pain, into praise. Every step you take now carries sound, even if you can't hear it. Heaven records the rhythm of your obedience like soft drum beats in eternity. Each choice to trust again becomes music, and the angels move in time with the quiet courage of your faith. Keep dancing through the unknown. Let your spirit sway with gratitude. Even when the melody shifts, the composer is still leading, still smiling, still guiding your every turn. You are not just surviving the song, you are becoming its most beautiful note. There are moments when heaven echoes your name through signs, whispers, and words that arrive right when your heart needs them most. You've been hearing it lately, haven't you? Those small confirmations that seem too perfect to be random, the right phrase, the right message, the sudden calm that says, "I see you." That is no coincidence. It's heaven's way of reminding you that your light still matters. The air feels different when God speaks through repetition. You start to notice patterns, numbers, moments, words that carry weight. They're not superstition, they're signatures of divine attention. The Father knows you. Listen closely. So he speaks in ways only your heart will recognize. It is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." This isn't just poetry, it's prophecy. Heaven is calling you to rise again, to glow again, to keep walking in the light that never fades. There's a new wave of strength flowing into you right now. The same hands that steadied you in the storm are now lifting you higher. The echoes of joy from earlier chapters are now becoming thunder. What began as a whisper of encouragement is turning into a roar of confirmation. You are seen. You are guided. You are protected. Every delay, every detour was not punishment, it was preparation. You may have thought God was silent, but he was speaking through stillness. He was rebuilding your foundation while you thought you were being forgotten. And now, you're beginning to feel the shift. You're standing taller, speaking gentler, loving deeper. That's what happens when divine echoes reach your spirit. They realign everything inside you. Heaven repeats itself when something is important. The words, "Keep walking in this light," have returned to you again and again, not by accident, but by design. Each time you hear them, another layer of your old fear falls away. Each repetition engraves courage deeper into your soul. These echoes are not meant to comfort you temporarily, they are meant to transform you permanently. The light within you is stabilizing. You're no longer flickering, you're glowing steadily, like a lighthouse that refuses to go dark even when the waves crash hard. And this moment, right now, this connection through words and spirit, is one of those divine repetitions. You are reading this because heaven wanted to remind you again, the glory of the Lord rises upon you. The season of silence has ended. The dawn you've been waiting for is already here. There's a new rhythm in your life, one that hums beneath the surface of your days. It is the rhythm of grace, of divine alignment. You are walking into answers that were already written for you. The promises you thought were delayed are simply arriving in their appointed hour. You don't have to strive anymore. You only have to stay available. Light does not chase, it radiates. You don't need to prove your worth. You only need to stay open to the voice that keeps calling you forward. Every time you respond in faith, the echoes grow louder, turning into waves of blessing that touch everything connected to you. Pause now. Breathe. The same light that once healed you is now expanding through you. Heaven is not just shining on you, It is shining through you. That's what this moment means. The echo of joy is becoming expression, the reflection of grace becoming action. If this message reaches the center of your being, it's because heaven meant it to. Nothing in the Spirit is random. Even this timing, this exact sentence, is part of a pattern God designed to strengthen you for what comes next. So here's your sign, one more echo. One more divine reminder that you are in the right place, at the right time, walking in the right light. Type 9,999 inches, the comments, as your sign of alignment. Let it be your personal echo back to heaven, saying, I hear you, I'm ready to rise. Every 9,999 becomes a pulse in the unseen, a signal that your light is fully awakened and that your season of divine confirmation has begun. When you write 9,999, you are declaring that your spirit is in rhythm with heaven's timing. It is your way of saying, I have heard the echo, and I am answering. Each number becomes a step upward, marking your ascent into the light God prepared for you. Every 9,999 is a bridge between your faith and heaven's fulfillment. It speaks of completion and renewal, the closing of what once drained you and the birth of what will now bless you. You are sealing your alignment with divine order through this simple, sacred act. As you type 9,999, imagine it shining like 4 pillars of light around you. Each pillar represents clarity, courage, peace, and promise. Together, they form a gateway, reminding the heavens that you have heard, believed, and responded. This is your echo returning home. There are seasons when your light begins to draw attention, not all of it kind. You felt it lately, the sideways glances, the quiet misunderstandings, the moments when people twist your silence into arrogance or your peace into pride. It stings, doesn't it, to be misunderstood for simply following what God asked of you? But even this, chosen one, is part of your refining. When heaven marks you, not everyone will recognize the mark as holy. Some will see confidence as distance, joy as denial, purpose as pride. But the Father says, not everyone can see what I see in you. You are being shaped by divine vision, not human opinion. The misunderstanding of others cannot cancel heaven's recognition. There's something sacred about being unseen correctly. When others misread your peace, heaven smiles, because it knows that your calm isn't ignorance, it's intimacy. You've learned how to rest in God's timing, how to stay still even when provoked. That kind of strength looks strange to those who still find comfort in noise. Think of Joseph in the pit, misunderstood by his brothers. Think of Hannah praying silently, mistaken for being drunk. Think of Jesus, accused by the very people he came to save. The chosen are often misread because their language is not earthly, it's eternal. Heaven speaks through stillness. The world hears only sound. The word of truth reminds us in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 18. If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. These words are not meant to harden you, but to free you. You are not strange for feeling set apart. You are aligned with the rhythm of heaven. The rejection you feel is not a curse. It is a compass pointing toward destiny. There are people who will misunderstand your motives because they can't interpret your mission. They see the surface, not the surrender. They measure by popularity, not purpose, but you. You've been called to walk differently, to choose the narrow path where applause fades but glory shines. Do not waste energy trying to explain yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. Your peace will say more than your defense ever could. When you stay quiet under false accusation, heaven testifies for you. Truth needs no microphone, it only needs time. And time has always been on the side of the chosen. So let them talk. Let them assume. Let them wonder why your steps don't match their rhythm. Because one day, the same mouths that misread you will marvel at what God did through you. You've already noticed how silence protects you. When you stop arguing, you stop bleeding energy into battles that were never yours. The misunderstood don't need to fight. They need only to keep walking. Because purpose speaks loudest in completion. When the work is done, even your critics will have to acknowledge divine fingerprints. Sometimes misunderstanding is mercy. It keeps you hidden while heaven finishes your preparation. It prevents premature exposure. It filters who's meant to walk with you. Every misread moment is a layer of divine covering. You are not invisible, you are being refined in secret light. If only you could see how heaven guards its chosen. When others mock, angels build walls. When others doubt, grace doubles. When others distance themselves, God draws nearer. You are never truly isolated, you are incubated. And when the season of unveiling arrives, what emerges will need no explanation. So, do not resent misunderstanding. Embrace it as confirmation that you are walking where few dare to go. The higher the calling, the smaller the crowd. Not everyone can understand the silence required for revelation or the loneliness required for maturity. This is how you learn to walk with dignity in divine mystery, to be soft yet strong, silent yet sure. You have nothing to prove, only light to carry. And light never rushes to explain itself. It simply shines until the darkness understands. There will come a day when those who once misjudged your heart will seek your peace. They will return not to apologize, but to find the calm they mocked. That will be your chance to reflect heaven, to welcome them with grace, not bitterness, because forgiveness is the final proof of understanding. You are not here to be understood, you are here to be revealed. There is a difference. Revelation takes time, and heaven is patient. You don't need the world's validation when you already carry heaven's approval. Keep your eyes lifted. The same voice that said, "You made me laugh today," still whispers, "You make me proud now." Your peace is enough. Your silence is enough. Heaven understands what people cannot. And one day, soon, everything unclear will make sense. Not through explanation, but through the evidence of glory revealed in your life. Every misunderstanding becomes a mirror, showing how far you've grown. You no longer react, you respond with grace. Heaven measures that calm and calls it maturity. The quiet strength born only from divine trust. Keep your peace close. It is your proof of progress. The world may misread you, but heaven always translates correctly. In time, even silence will speak your vindication. Laughter crowns you now, not the fragile laughter that hides pain, but the deep, holy laughter that rises from survival, from revelation, from freedom. It's the sound of someone who has seen the valley and walked out shining. You wear that sound like a crown, proof that sorrow did not win. When heaven looks at you now, It does not see the one who cried through sleepless nights. It sees the one who turned tears into testimony. Your laughter is not careless, it's consecrated. Every time you laugh now, heaven joins in, because your joy carries memory. You are not laughing at what broke you, you are laughing over it. It's strange, isn't it? How laughter can carry the sound of healing. It begins softly, unsure, like sunlight returning after days of rain. But then it grows stronger, freer, until even your spirit feels lighter. You start to realize that laughter is not weakness, it's resurrection in motion. The sacred writings confirm this transformation. It is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 126, verse 2, "Our mouths were filled with laughter, our tongues with songs of joy." That verse is not nostalgia, it's prophecy fulfilled. It describes you now, the one who stood in ashes and found joy again. The one who discovered that divine laughter is not about forgetting pain, but about remembering victory. Heaven has seen your strength and placed laughter upon your head as a crown of light. Your laughter now carries authority. It shifts atmospheres. It tells the unseen world that despair has lost its dominion. It tells every shadow that tried to silence you, you failed, because joy has returned, and it refuses to leave. When you laugh, chains fall. The air changes. The space around you becomes holy because laughter and light share the same language. Angels recognize that sound. It's the echo of heaven's joy, finding a home inside you. You once feared that laughter would never come back. You thought the damage was too deep, the pain too real. But look at you now, you laugh without guilt. You smile without explanation. And you love without fear. That is what divine restoration looks like. Laughter has become your mantle, your spiritual garment. It covers you where shame once lived. It wraps around you like sunlight after a long winter. You no longer wear grief as identity, you wear joy as inheritance. There are people who will not understand your laughter. They'll wonder how you can still rejoice after all that happened. But they did not see the nights when you held your chest in pain, whispering prayers with no words. They did not see how God sat beside you in silence until you could breathe again. That's why your laughter confuses them. It carries a sound they cannot hear, the rhythm of mercy. You are not laughing because life is flawless. You are laughing because grace is faithful. You are not celebrating the absence of struggle. You are celebrating the presence of victory. Heaven knows that sound. It's the sound of redemption finishing its work. Your laughter has power beyond emotion. It's an invitation to others who've forgotten joy. When they hear it, something inside them stirs, remembering what hope feels like. That's how heaven uses you, as a living reminder that darkness doesn't get the final word. You have become light-hearted not because your burdens vanished, but because you learned who carries them now. God didn't remove every storm, but He taught you how to dance in the rain, and somewhere along that dance, you realized that laughter was your rhythm all along. The crown of laughter doesn't sparkle with gold, it shines with peace. It's invisible but undeniable. It's the way you enter rooms, the way your eyes reflect light even in quiet moments. You've become a beacon of joy, proof that divine laughter can rebuild what tragedy tried to destroy. If ever you forget how far you've come, remember the sound of your own laughter. It carries the record of every tear transformed, every fear conquered, every promise fulfilled. When heaven hears that sound, it echoes back. This one knows joy. So wear your laughter proudly. Let it be your anthem, your armor, your offering. Let it rise from you freely, like rivers breaking through dry ground. Let it carry the fragrance of victory wherever you go. For this is the truth: laughter is not the end of your story, it's the evidence of its redemption. You were not meant to stay broken. You were meant to be crowned with joy, to carry heaven's smile across the earth. And as you keep laughing, heaven keeps celebrating, whispering once more, "You made me laugh today." Your laughter is heaven's language now, a melody the earth has longed to hear. Every sound of it declares, "Grace won here." You are proof that joy can live again after fire, that even ashes can sing when touched by divine breath. Keep laughing, chosen one. Let it echo through every tomorrow. For each burst of joy you release lights another path for those still walking through night. Heaven crowns you anew with every smile that dares to rise. Light is never meant to stay in one place. It moves, it spreads, it multiplies, and the light within you has begun to reach farther than you realize. The laughter you carry, the peace you live, the faith you embody, these are sparks that awaken others. You are no longer just a receiver of light. You are now a torchbearer. There was a time when your glow felt small, fragile, almost flickering. But God never designed your flame to be hidden. He designed it to multiply. Every time you encourage someone, every time you offer forgiveness, every time you show kindness when no one expects it, your light splits like glass reflecting the sun. It reaches corners of the world you will never see, hearts you will never meet. The word of the Lord declares in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 3, "Nations will come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your dawn." Those words are not about power, they are about purpose. Your light was always meant to lead, not through control or perfection, but through presence. The radiance you carry attracts people who are searching, longing, and lost. They don't need you to preach, they need you to shine. And yet, even the brightest flames sometimes need tending. Fire, if left alone, can fade. It needs air, care, and connection. So too does this divine work. These words that reach you each time, the flow of faith, the stream of hope, it all depends on those who keep the fire alive together. When you like, share, or subscribe, it's not a task, it's a touch. It's the way your hand cups the fragile flame and shields it from the wind. It's the way you say, "Let this light travel farther." You're not helping a page, you're helping a purpose. Your simple act becomes a quiet prayer whispered into the world's noise. Let light win again. And if ever you feel a stirring within you to do more, to help sustain this current of light, then follow that peace. Think of giving, of donating, not as payment, but as planting. Each seed sown in light becomes a tree of refuge for another soul. Someone, somewhere, will find shelter in your unseen generosity. There is no obligation in this, only invitation. Every offering, whether a small gift, a prayer, or a moment of support, is a drop of oil poured into a lamp still burning for hope. It's the same oil that once kept temple flames alive through long nights of waiting. You are part of that same lineage now, the keepers of light. This message, this space, this movement, it's not about one voice, it's about the chorus of hearts that keep saying yes to heaven's rhythm. Every share is another echo, Every comment is another heartbeat in the chain of divine connection. When you write a few words beneath a message that touched you, it's not just text, it's testimony. It's proof that light still reaches living hearts. And when you comment, think of it as carving your initials on the wall of light. It's a gentle mark that says, "I was here, and this moment touched me." Your words become small candles in the hallway of hope, guiding the next soul that passes through. There's beauty in this kind of togetherness. We are not gathering for fame or following. We are gathering for fire, for the warmth that tells others, "You are not alone." This is the quiet revolution of heaven light multiplying through willing souls. The way you respond, the way you interact, the way you let your heart engage, each of these is a sacred act of participation. When you give, you breathe air into the flame. When you share, you extend its reach. When you comment, you confirm its life. The fire remembers every breath, every spark, every seed. Heaven doesn't measure generosity by the size of the act, but by the sincerity behind it. The smallest gesture, born from real love, carries infinite weight. Think of it like sunlight reflected through dew, tiny, yet enough to set the morning aglow. So, chosen one, if this message has warmed something inside you, let that warmth flow outward. Let it take form in your own way through your words, your actions, your support, not because you must, but because it feels right to keep beauty moving. For every soul that lights another, heaven smiles again, and perhaps that is the truest form of offering, to keep the laughter of God alive through our shared giving, our shared light, our shared love. Like, share, comment, subscribe, or give not from pressure, but from peace. Think of it as lifting your own lantern to join the constellation of lights already glowing across the earth. Together, we make the night less heavy, the path more visible, the world more alive with heaven's laughter. Every light you release through giving, sharing, or simply believing adds another star to heaven's map of hope. One by one, those stars form a constellation called redemption, tracing the story of every heart that chose to keep shining when the night refused to end. There are secrets that only joy can reveal. You've spent years searching for answers, in struggle, in prayer, in silence, and somewhere along the way, heaven began to show you that joy itself was an answer. Not the shallow kind that fades when trouble comes, but the deep, quiet delight that says, God is here, even in this. This is the secret of God's delight. It does not depend on your perfection, only on your presence. He delights not because you've done everything right, but because you're still standing, still open, still seeking Him. When He looks at you, He doesn't see mistakes, He sees movement. He sees a heart that keeps returning, even after falling. There is a stillness in that kind of love. You no longer have to perform to be seen. You simply are, and that is enough. Heaven rejoices not because you've become flawless, but because you've become fearless in returning to grace. That is the beauty of divine delight. It celebrates your willingness, not your worthiness. It is written in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 17, "The Lord your God is with you. He will take great delight in you. He will rejoice over you with singing." Imagine that God singing over you, not judging, not demanding, but singing His voice. older than time, humming softly around your life like wind through leaves. Every note says, "I'm proud of you." That is the melody that follows you, even when you cannot hear it. There are days when you feel unworthy of such love, when guilt tries to return, whispering that you've failed too many times. But the secret of God's delight is this: His joy is stronger than your shame. You can't out-sin His song. The melody of mercy never stops playing. It simply waits for you to listen again. You've been learning to live inside that song, to let grace be your rhythm and peace your pulse. Every time you forgive yourself, you're harmonizing with heaven. Every time you rest instead of striving, you're keeping time with God's own heartbeat. The world tells you to prove yourself through doing, achieving, earning, but heaven teaches you to belong through being. God's delight doesn't increase when you succeed, nor does it diminish when you stumble. It is steady, like sunrise. You can't make it brighter by effort or dimmer by failure. You can only open your eyes to it. This is the mystery of divine joy. It doesn't start from your actions, it flows toward them. The Father delights first, and that delight transforms everything it touches. It's like rain that falls on barren land, coaxing color from dry soil. You were never meant to earn His smile, you were meant to grow under it. When you understand this, the pressure to perform begins to fade. You start to live lighter, laugh easier, forgive faster. You become less concerned with perfection and more concerned with presence. You realize that the most spiritual thing you can do is simply show up with all your flaws, your fears, and your faith. And God meets you there, not with lectures, but with laughter, not with disappointment, but with delight. He looks at you the way an artist looks at an unfinished painting, already envisioning the masterpiece hidden beneath every brushstroke. This is why joy matters so much. It's not decoration, it's evidence. When you feel joy, you're experiencing a piece of God's own heart. His delight in you becomes your delight in Him, until the two blend together like dawn meeting the horizon. So when you laugh now, laugh knowing you're echoing heaven. When you rest, rest knowing that divine joy surrounds you. You're not just living, you're being sung over. That's the difference between surviving and shining. Even in quiet moments when no one sees, heaven is still celebrating. The sound doesn't fade, it simply becomes the background music of your soul. That's why you feel peace suddenly, even after days of chaos. That's why gratitude sneaks up on you when you least expect it. The song has found you again. You are not merely tolerated by God, you are treasured. You are not just accepted, you are adored. Divine delight is not occasional, it's continual. Every breath you take is surrounded by the laughter of heaven. And as you walk forward, remember this secret: the smile of God is your strength. His delight is your defense. You do not carry His approval like a fragile gift. You walk in it like sunlight that never fades. So, let this be your peace tonight. You are not chasing love. You are moving within it. The melody of heaven is already around you, and it will not stop until you learn to sing along. The melody of heaven does not end when you sleep. It wraps itself around your dreams. Even in stillness, God hums over you, reminding creation that His delight is not fleeting, it is eternal, written into the very rhythm of your heartbeat. Carry that sound wherever you go. Let His joy become your language, His laughter your strength. For every step taken in awareness of divine delight becomes worship. and every smile born from peace becomes a hymn of light. You have walked a long road to reach this light. Each step, each scar, each prayer whispered in the dark has led you here to the moment where heaven's laughter no longer feels distant but alive within you. What began as a whisper has become a rhythm. What once felt like survival has turned into song. God is still smiling. He never stopped. His laughter surrounds you like sunlight through trees, touching everything that once felt heavy. You can feel it now, the weight has changed. The same burdens that once bowed your shoulders now feel lighter. Not because they disappeared, but because grace is carrying them with you. This is what it means to walk in divine light, not to live without trouble, but to walk through it without losing peace. To know that every shadow that crosses your path is only proof that light stands behind you. You have become that light now. It no longer flickers uncertainly, it shines with purpose. People around you may not understand it, but they feel it. The calm that enters a room when you arrive. The quiet hope that lingers after you speak. Those are not accidents. They are the reflection of heaven's smile through your life. The book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 22, captures this eternal truth. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Your joy has become medicine, not just for you, but for others. You heal through your presence. You comfort through your calm. The peace you carry, men's hearts you'll never know are breaking. That is the legacy of a chosen one who keeps walking in light. It took time to learn that joy was not an emotion to chase, but a truth to carry. You learned to stand when you didn't understand, to hope when hope made no sense. You learned that peace is not the absence of storms, it's the anchor in the middle of them. Now your laughter, once fragile, has become fierce. It does not deny pain, it defies it. It is not shallow, it is sacred. You laugh now as someone who knows the cost of joy. And heaven honors that sound like a prayer fulfilled. This is the divine full circle. You made God laugh, and now his laughter lives in you. You have become what once inspired you. You are no longer just chosen, you are completed, crowned in light that does not fade. The path ahead will still have mountains and valleys, but you are no longer afraid of the climb. You have seen enough of God's consistency to trust his direction. Every turn of the path will reveal new glory. Every sunrise will carry the echo of his laughter through your soul. You will still feel human, tired, imperfect, uncertain, but even those moments are holy. Because holiness was never about flawlessness, it was about faithfulness. And you have remained faithful through loss, through loneliness, through silence. You stayed. You kept walking in this light, even when you couldn't see the end of the road. And that is why heaven celebrates you. That is why you feel peace even now. The laughter of God has not ended, it has multiplied. It moves through your breath, your kindness, your resilience. Every act of love you offer releases that same sound back into the world. When others lose hope, they will look to you and see proof that it's still possible to survive and smile. When they hear your laughter, they will remember that joy was always meant to return. You will not need to speak much, your peace will preach for you. One day, when you look back, you'll realize the story was never about how much you suffered, but how deeply you loved through it all. That's the true mark of the chosen, not that they never fall, but that they rise with grace every time. You are walking now as light itself. Your presence changes the atmosphere. Your laughter breaks chains. Your faith turns pain into purpose. Heaven is no longer watching from afar. It walks with you, sings with you, rejoices with you. So, keep walking, not hurriedly, not anxiously, but steadily. Walk as someone who knows the way, because the way lives within you. Walk as someone who carries the fragrance of divine joy wherever you go. And as you walk, know this: heaven still laughs when you do. Each step you take makes eternity smile again. For the light within you is not borrowed, it is born. And nothing can extinguish what God Himself has placed inside you. You made Him laugh once, and now your laughter will keep echoing through generations, proof that light always wins. Love always returns, and the chosen always shine. Your laughter now belongs to eternity. Every echo of it travels farther than sound, into memories, into generations, into hearts that need healing. It is no longer just your joy, it is heaven's gift continuing its work through your voice. Keep shining with ease. Let the laughter of God remain your rhythm. For as long as you walk in this light, every sunrise will recognize you as one who carries the smile of heaven upon the earth. And now, chosen one, the message rests in your hands. The journey has been long, but light never travels in vain. If these words have found a home in your heart, let them keep breathing through you. Let them move beyond this screen into another life, another moment, another miracle. When you like or share this message, it's not routine, it's resonance. It's how echoes grow. Think of it as releasing one more lantern into the world. Its glow finding someone still walking through night. Your small gesture can be the reason a weary soul remembers that dawn still comes. When you comment, even a single line, it's more than response, it's reflection. Your words become ripples in still water, proof that light has reached you and now moves through you. Each comment is a spark, whispering, the light lives here too. When you subscribe, you're not joining a list, you're joining a lineage. You're stepping into a circle of souls who have chosen to keep heaven's laughter alive. Together, we are keepers of this gentle flame that turns pain into peace and endings into beginnings. And if your heart ever feels stirred to give, to donate, to water the well that has refreshed you, let it be an act of gratitude, not obligation. Picture your gift as a drop of oil poured quietly into a lamp that still burns through the world's long night. It's a way of saying, let someone else feel this warmth too. You have been the message all along, the reason light keeps returning. So go now, still glowing, still laughing, still walking in this divine rhythm. And remember, every act of love you share, whether word, prayer, or giving, keeps the laughter of heaven alive upon the earth.